Hi, Don McLaughlin from Falcon Discovery here at Legal Tech 2012. I'm pleased to introduce Charlie Kaupp from Digital Strata, based out in San Francisco Bay Area. Charlie, good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Charlie, tell us a little bit about your experience and your current work at Digital Strata.
My experience goes back about 8 years in discovery. I got my start at age 5 and then changed to Digital Strata about 3 years ago. Since then, I've been doing managed discovery services for a number of high-tech clients and law firms in the Bay Area.
Terrific. You know, we're here at Legal Tech 2012. If you look back several years, what have you seen in the way courts and legal practitioners manage the discovery process that's improved?
Over the course of the last years, I've seen improvement in overall process, actually. I think that there is more of an impetus to really define process throughout a case and truly document it, make it defensible, make it repeatable, and people take notice of that.
That's great. Now, from your experience and perspective, where do you think those process improvements have been most driven? Is it on the client side? Is it the court? What have you picked up on, and what's driving those improvements?
I've actually seen a lot of it on the client side lately. A lot of our clients are risk averse, and so they call on us to help them redefine their processes so that they become defensible. So the client requests it, the court demands it, and we execute it.
Terrific. Well, what do you think, looking ahead, that courts and counsel practitioners can do to continue to improve the process?
I think ongoing documentation, ongoing technology enhancement, and inclusion of experts in the utilization of new technologies is imperative.
And do you see, courts demanding that and sort of imposing it on lawyers, or do you think that there's now a recognition by lawyers that technology needs to be part of the solution and there needs to be a process wrapped around it?
I think that there's recognition by lawyers, but they are also often loath to change. And so a lot of law firms find it very difficult to move away from TIFF production, for instance, into a native production, or move away from concordance into something a little more robust. So I also see the courts imposing these kinds of changes with some of the more famous opinions about utilizing the simplistic keyword search lists or things like that, and moving into more advanced techniques.
In terms of trends that you guys see coming, both in terms of technology and then its application, what are some of the biggest trends you're picking up on?
Everyone this year at Legal Tech seems to be talking about predictive coding, and I do believe that using machine learning for to enhance review or to enhance different stages of a case, I think that is an upcoming trend. I still think it's very important to know what the technology does before using it. Don't treat the technology like a magic black box that you put documents in and miraculously all the responsive documents come out.
And what do you think has worked well in your experience to get parties engaged in using the technology appropriately and applying some rigor to the way in which the technology is being used? What's worked well in terms of engagement of counsel?
Education, actually. That's key to engaging counsel. And early on in a case, we take time to sit down with counsel and explain to them what the technology is and how it works. And the idea being that they can then take that explanation to the other side in a meet and confer or deposition or at trial, and they can continually talk about the technology throughout the entire process and not blunder it.
What are the ways in which your work at Digital Strata contributes to managing e-discovery in the way we've talked about?
My work at Digital Strata is in defining solutions for our clients and in helping them select tools to use for a given application.
Okay, terrific. And I know that you guys have developed over the last year or so a particular solution to address data that comes out of essentially the Macintosh environment. Could you speak to us a little bit about that and how you see it being used?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what we saw in the last few years is that there is an increase in prevalence of Macintosh operating system in the enterprise. And the reason for that is that in recent instantiations of the OS itself, there's been support built in for enterprise tools like Exchange or Documentum or things like that. And so we look at those kinds of situations as that's discoverable data sitting on someone's computer, often the right someone, engineers, C-level employees, marketing people. And if it's discoverable and it's not discovered or it's accepted out, for instance, then it's just missing. And we find that missing 30% of the data in a case because it's not the right operating system is kind of unacceptable.
And do you find that that sort of harkens back to the educational component of talking to clients about what data they might have that they don't even know that perhaps they're not getting?
Mm-hmm, I believe so. We've gone back to our counsel and explained to them what Mac data looks like. We've gone to other litigation support vendors and explained to them what Mac data might look like. We've seen exceptions reports from other vendors that have at the very top of the list, for instance, the Entourage Mac database, which is where all the emails stored if you're using Microsoft Office on a Mac. And it was accepted out as an unsupported file type. So that custodian had no email data at that point, and nobody really asked the question why. And what we do is we go in there, we ask why, and then we fix it. We solve the problem by converting that email into a usable form by the review tools.
Is that one of the things that precipitated you all developing a dedicated application to support conversion of Mac data?
Most definitely. We see that there's a definite need in the industry for that kind of an application. And with our clients specifically, we see that need, and so we developed it for our clients, but for the industry as a whole as well.
Terrific. And what are some of the types of technology that you're looking at and focused on to see developments at Legal Tech 2012?
I actually heard from someone that there are other companies doing this Mac support, and I'm interested to see what they're doing, what kind of support. I'm also interested to see sort of an increase in standards-based development for a review platform, for instance. I've seen a couple of review platforms that work in other browsers, especially on the Mac or in Firefox, for instance, using HTML5 instead of Microsoft proprietary solutions for the development of these tools. Because I hear a lot from attorneys that they even want to use their Mac or their iPad or something to do review work.
Terrific. Well, it's a pleasure talking with you, Charlie. Thanks for chatting with us.